Make sure you guys hit the subscribe button if you guys are enjoying the content that we're throwing up. And make sure you guys hit the like button if you enjoy the video. And yeah, let's begin. What's going on, guys? This is Rob, and today on our Beyond Omega level series, we are looking at a character that rarely gets the respect he deserves. A character of few words, or at least words that any of us can really understand, and arguably the most beloved floating green ball in the Marvel Universe, Doop. So Doop was created by Peter Milligan and Mike Allred and first appeared in X-Force number 116 in 2001. Now, as far as his origins are, the only thing we know is that according to Captain America, Doop was created by the United States toward the end of the Cold War, and that Doop brought about the fall of the Berlin Wall. But when we're first introduced to Doop, we don't really get any information about his origin. All we know is that he is the cameraman for the new X-Force team that is being introduced because new Marvel editor Joe Quesada wanted to totally revamp the title, both visually and narratively. And so what happened was that the X-Force title drastically shifted its focus to an entirely new team of mutants that wanted to use the X-Force brand to build their own celebrity. And Doop was the one that filmed their adventures so they could go be broadcast to other audiences. Now, Doop remains a member of X-Statix for the first duration of the team's existence, becoming so popular that plush volumes of him are sold in the gift shops at the team's headquarters. And when the team goes on a mission to battle a group of terrorists that have occupied a mansion, Doop and his teammates are all killed in action. However, once Wolverine becomes headmaster of the Jean Grey Institute for Higher Learning, we see that Doop works at the school with no explanation as to how or when he was suddenly alive again. Operating under the pretense of being an adjunct professor, the reality is that Wolverine recruited Doop specifically to protect the school from those who wish harm to the students, as Wolverine knew he wouldn't be able to offer adequate protection on his own, with so much of his time being devoted to running the school. Now, during this time at the Jean Grey school, Doop wards off such threats like the condemnation of the school by the local zoning board, negative blog posts by disgruntled nuns, and with some help from Howard the Duck, a horde of robot barbarians from Dimension Z. Actually, I think it's triple Z. Dimension ZZZ. Dimension boring. But following the conclusion of the Wolverine and the X-Men series, Doop would get his own mini-series titled All New Doop that was written by his co-creator Peter Milligan, where we learn the truth about Doop's origin, which is extremely meta and fairly confusing, but I'll try to explain it in a way that makes sense. And so it turns out that Doop comes from Marginalia, which is a sort of pocket dimension that exists in the margins of reality. We learn that Doop and his parents are actually products of the imagination of Ingmar Bergman, a prodigious Swedish film director, which is also what gives Doop the inspiration to pick up a camera and start making documentaries. Now, as a child, Doop endures a lot of abuse at the hands of his mother because she blames him for Doop's father abandoning her, or at least that's what Doop had always believed to be his origin. But this illusion is shattered by Reyes, a mutant from the future that is the son of Wolverine and Mystique during the Battle of the Atom storyline that most people have tried their hardest to forget about. But eventually, Doop finds out that he was actually created by a hospital orderly doodling him onto a sheet of paper, and that his mother and father had never separated. And in fact, they were actually one and the same, a single hermaphroditic entity that gave birth to Doop through asexual means. Now, initially, this causes Doop to suffer a mental breakdown, but after talking with Wolverine, he's able to make peace with his true origin. And I really hope that made sense, guys, because we're dealing with a super weird character here. But in terms of power, Doop has displayed a wide variety of abilities, from the fairly conventional to the utterly absurd. Doop has impressive strength, as he's shown the ability to punch holes in stone walls, as well as advanced durability, being able to endure a great deal of damage, including swimming through acid without suffering any significant damage. He also possesses a regenerative healing factor and the ability to fly. Beyond these normal, somewhat boring powers, Doop has abilities that make him unique among Marvel's most powerful characters. For example, he's able to produce objects seemingly on cue from within his body, which may be due to an ability to store things inside his body, or maybe he can just create things when he needs them. But one thing we do know is that Doop is basically a self-contained pocket universe. So in X-Force number 123, which was a silent issue presented as part of the Nuff Said event in 2002, which is basically a challenge from Marvel editorial to its writers and artists to tell stories without relying on dialogue, in that issue, Doop wakes up and finds out that he has a huge pimple on his forehead, which naturally he pops. But when he does so, his X-Statix teammates are sucked into his body, where they each endure horrific situations before being rescued by Doop, who's able to enter his own body and help them escape by squeezing them out of the hole created by his pimple. You know, I really should have given people a warning that this wasn't really for the squeamish. I am obliged to explain this character as the best I can, even if that means I have to be gross. Anyway, once his teammates are returned to the reality, we find out that only 1 second has gone by due to Doop literally stopping the hands of the clock in the room, suggesting that Doop has the ability to control time time and reality as well. During the all-new Doop miniseries, we found out that Doop is able to travel back and forth through reality to Doop space, or marginalia, whatever you want to call it. And so how this manifests is that Doop basically drops into various points of time when he's needed to do something to move the narrative along, such as fix a plane so that it can take off correctly if the story dictates that the characters need to fly on a plane. And so he basically serves this role for the X-Men, popping up when he's needed to do a variety of unseen things that seem minor but are actually essential for the plot to move forward. Now, while this isn't actually reality warping in the most literal sense, Doop is able to affect reality by being plugged into the knowledge of what is needed and when. Doop was also proven to be a potent offensive threat. On one occasion, he's kidnapped by Russians that use Doop's brain to produce powerful energy blasts that keep the Avengers at bay. This is when we find out from Captain America that Doop was a major factor in the collapse of the Soviet Union. On another occasion, Doop battled Thor, who is of course one of the strongest characters in Marvel Comics. When Thor hurls Mjolnir at Doop, Doop absorbs it, somehow multiplies it with his body, and then spits out all the duplicates back at Thor. It was amazing. Now, the fact that he was able to do that with a weapon as powerful as Mjolnir suggests that although we don't know exactly how it works, Doop is able to do some crazy matter manipulation within his body. So yeah, like I said, Doop is a crazy character, but hopefully you'll come away from this video with an understanding of Doop, as well as an appreciation for how powerful he is. I love the name Doop. To be honest with you guys, I love that name. I love that, like, I can't get tired of saying it, right? Like, Doop. Doop. I want to know who, like, why did they choose that name? That's what I want to know. Like, why did they choose the name Doop? I love that name, right? He just looks funny. Like, I really hope we end up seeing Doop in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. That would be amazing, dude. Can you imagine the toys? Right? He'd be like the Woody of like the Marvel Cinematic Universe. It would be amazing. But with that being said, guys, we're gonna bring this video to an end. If you are new here to Comments Explained, make sure you guys hit the sub button to become part of the Rob Corps. If you guys enjoyed this video, make sure you drop a like, and I will catch you all later. Peace.